In the previous video, we have discussed what is FlexB. Before start creating robot behaviors with it, we first need to install and configure FlexB in our machine. A FlexB installation contains three main elements. First, the FlexB repository, called FlexB Behavior Engine. This contains all the infrastructure of FlexB. Then, you can have additional repositories with states that you can use in your FlexB behaviors. These are optional. And third, the FlexB app, which is a friendly user interface for creating our behaviors state machines. If you followed week 0, all these elements are already installed in your workspace for the MOOC. The FlexB app is an app for the Chrome web browser. So to complete the installation, you will need to navigate to your Chrome extensions and add it. You can do this by drag and dropping the flexb.crx file that you can find in the FlexB repository. Note that instead of Chrome, you can also use Chromium, which is an open source alternative to Chrome. The installation is the same. These steps complete the FlexB installation. For further reference, you can find detailed installation instructions in the FlexB website. Now, let's take a closer look into the FlexB folders that are installed in our workspace. A FlexB installation consists of several folders in the source folder of our workspace. They need to be located in our ROS workspace if we want to use them in the behaviors of our ROS applications. The first of these folders is the FlexB engine repository, which basically contains all the FlexB infrastructure, including the engine to execute behaviors, some basic states that we can use, and examples. Second, we have the additional state repositories we mentioned before. This is a very nice feature of FlexB. You can reuse states in your behaviors. So several people have made their states available online. You can find some of them listed in the FlexB website. In this course, we will be using two of these repositories. One is the generic FlexB states, a repository by the FlexB maintainers that contains generic states that provide standard ROS capabilities. For example, states that interface the move group node for planning, or another state for the move base node for mobile robot navigation. We will explore them when we create our behaviors. The other state repository is the HRWROS factory states, which is specific for this course and contains states for our factory simulation. Finally, the most important folder for you, the one that contains the behaviors and states that you will develop. This folder does not exist yet. You have to create it. FlexB comes with a tool to create and configure this repository for you. You can simply execute rosrun flexb_widget create repo, adding the name you want for this folder. I recommend you use a name that identifies what it is. For example, HRWROS factory and your name. Be aware that the tool will automatically append _behaviors to the name, so you don't need to put that, or it will be repeated. Okay, so now we have our FlexB installation ready. Now we need to configure the FlexB app to use our behaviors folder for the behaviors we will develop and to know where to find all these states we have available in our FlexB installation. So let's open the FlexB app to show you how to do it. You can open the FlexB app as any other application in your system. So in my Ubuntu, I can simply look for it and start it. Okay, here we have the FlexB user interface. We will explain it in detail later. For the moment, let's go to the configuration view. This is where we configure FlexB. Here, in the state library box, we tell FlexB where to find state implementations. We can add multiple paths here. First of all, we need to add the states that come with FlexB. So we go to the FlexB Behavior Engine repository and add here the FlexB States folder. Now, we add the generic FlexB States in the same way. Okay, and finally, we also add the HRWROS factory states folder that contains the states for our factory simulation. Okay, Now FlexB knows about the states that we can use in our behaviors. To complete the configuration, we have to tell FlexB where to put the behaviors and states we develop. This is done in the workspace box. Remember the folder we created before for our robot behaviors? In my case, I call it HRW Ross Factory Carlos behaviors. So, for the option behaviors folder, we add the directory with that name that FlexB has created inside our folder. And we do the same for the FlexB behaviors option. Here it is. All right, that's it. For the rest of the configuration options, we can use the default values. You can learn more about them in the FlexB documentation. Now we have FlexB configured and we can start creating our first behavior in the next video.